So these were the small German, what were the equivalent to our Jeeps. And this was in the movie Valkyrie. But this would have been the Nazi Germans. So welcome to another episode of Junkyards and Barn Finds with Sean, and I'm Sean.
What that meant was they had 3 of them for the actual film, but they built this one to be a museum piece.
So they had 3 that were on the road,
yeah,
and this one was the display model.
This one was kind of a display model. So one day it got dropped off at a shipping yard in New Jersey to be sent to a museum in England. Unfortunately, those crew weren't so nice to the car, because they stole the steering wheel, the shifter knob, the radio, and everything out of the car.
Oh, jeez.
But this is the next car so people get to sit in.
Oh. All right, guys, so this is the first time you'll see me sit in a car that is not an American car. And don't give me a hard time. You guys don't like me when I show Porsches and everything else. Now this is signed.
Yes. So that is Lewis from the Fast 5. In that film, the first time you see him, Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto, and Brian O'Connor go to this like car meet in Brazil, and they see this beautiful blue Porsche Carrera.
I remember that.
The guy that owned that, the one that went up to Dom and said, "You don't run this area anymore." That's who autographed this vehicle. Okay. And he's going to be in the 10th film. Okay.
And it's got the NO nitrous bottles in the back. And obviously it was a stick shift.
Yeah.
So, so many of you may not know how to ever drive one of these. The anti-theft device. All right, I'm gonna have to. This is gonna make old man sounds because getting out of this thing.
It's not the easiest thing out of.
But man, it's tight in there.
But it is a fan favorite, especially since it is the first car in the Fast and Furious franchise that you see.
But very, very cool. And these are the cars that really started what everybody does now.
Yeah.
Like prior to the Fast and the Furious, the only place that really had some of these race cars was the article that it was based on, which was in New Jersey, and a couple people in California. So.
Now this car, I know, breaks a lot of people's hearts. Seeing a Buick Grand National like this. However, it's designed, if you look up there, it's designed to keep up with that gas tanker, but it looks like it's driving backwards. The reality is, it's driving forward due to the fact the steering wheel is there, the shifter is there.
Right.
And believe it or not, the gas and brake are actually right here.
All right. And is it, I wonder if this is a real Grand National.
It is a real Grand National.
So it was a real Grand National.
Yeah.
Of course, they were making this, guys, before the Grand Nationals were going for $250,000, $300,000 too. So,
but this is just a standard Grand National. It's not the G and X.
They just flipped the body.
So yeah, all they did was they took the body off the actual car, spun it around, put it back on. So the idea is the car is still driving forward, but it looks like it's driving backwards.
So the engine should be. There you go.
Right up in there.
Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. And a fuel cell right there. So
actually, that is
it's a radiator.
That is a giant intercooler.
Okay.
Due to the fact that the truck area doesn't have much for airflow, they had to put a giant intercooler in.
Okay.
The fuel cell's actually
in the back. And it's actually got like NASCAR rims on it.
Yeah.
So pretty cool though.
Now, I love this car because it's kind of funny. It's an Acura Integra.
Okay.
Most people will see the Eclipse and go, I'm going to buy that car. Like they put offers on it. But everybody, for some reason, wants to steal this car. And I make the joke. I'm like, all right, I'll make you a deal. If you can get out of the building without getting caught, it's yours. There's no engine, no transmission, no battery, no nothing. The reason why is this is actually what they call a placement car. They've only started recently doing this. They'll take the engine and transmission out of a shell car, Windshield's duct taped on, as you can see, and that's designed for them to remove them. Well, the thing is, with that being done, you can then throw the actor in there, do a bit of dialogue and some recording, and then you would swap it to the actual stunt car and do that for all the actual racing stunts. This was Ja Rule's car in the first film, who played Edwin. The most famous line people may remember is, "No, Monica!" But he got passed by Brian O'Connor. But nonetheless.
And then this.
Then we have Mad Max. Now this one's kind of a mouthful to say, but this is a 1974 Ford Falcon XB GT Coupe, hand-built in Australia. It is one of 6 designed for the first 2 films.
So this was used in the original. This is a real car from the movie.
So it's from the first film and then was revamped for the second film, hence why it doesn't look like it did in the original film.
Right.
But most people may remember a scene where he kind of flipped a switch.
Yep.
It turned on the blower.
Which you cannot do in a real blower.
You cannot do with the real car. So similar to the Monkey's Mobile. It is also faked. I should not be able to do that.
Right.
Now the reason for that is due to the fact what is known as a synchronization issue. So, simplest way to explain it, take a brand new stock Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Because of how they got their name, they sounded like screaming cats. So, due to that whining supercharger, you can never hear that roaring V8 underneath it.
Right.
So the separation of them, and then this being electronically controlled, you can hear that whining supercharger and the roaring V8 at the same time.
Right.
Not one not to overpower the other. And that's what I like.
But if anybody ever had a 671 blower like that, all you can hear is the whine.
That's all you can hear is that whining supercharger.
So, but they're very cool cars. And by the way, we found one for sale. Where did we find it, guys? It was on 27, about halfway to Sebring, between Fort Myers and Sebring. There's one that's sitting there rotting away in the back of that guy who has all the Mopar stuff. So if you want one, I think he's selling it. Oh. Should they subscribe to this channel even if they don't like cars today for this one?
Probably just for this one.
Where it says merchandise store right here, merchandise store link, you will see it says https:/junkyards-barn-finds with, and you click on that and it's going to take you here.